I don't get the point of that scene, why he threw this apple in the ocean or in the sea. It was odd and just super wasteful. So, yeah, Ezekiel should not be given any more apples, or his rations should be reduced. So, hello, it's Jen from My Govanen. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. Episode 6 came out for Amazon's Rings of Power. Now, I watched it only last night. Last night was Friday because I have a very interesting relationship with my bed. I can't stay up late. I'm a morning person, and the midnight drop time was just way too late for me. So I watched it last night after work. So while watching it, I took a few notes of what I liked and what I didn't like. So what I have for you guys today, it's just my list of likes and dislikes. And I ended up with 10 likes and 2 dislikes from episode 6, which is a really big improvement from episode 5, where I had I think I had 6 likes and 4 dislikes. But yeah, I struggled to get some likes, but here there's a whole bunch of likes. So I want to go through this list of likes and dislikes, and that's it. I also have a couple of thoughts I want to discuss. Well, not really discuss, just bring up after I go through my list. So the way my list is formatted, it's literally like it goes from like it follows the episode. So I start with my first dislike, and then it's all likes, and then I end with a dislike. So we'll just go through that list. So first thing on the list. Now, my first like, and it's a very specific moment. It's at 7 minutes and 44 seconds. It's when Arondir is he's in the village, and he's kind of like the only defense person for the Southlanders. And the strategy is that they had like a whole logistical situation going on, whereas he would shoot an arrow, and then that arrow would kind of put a bit of a ring of fire around the orcs, and it would sort of trap them in. But at that moment when he shoots the arrow, it looks great, like we got some fantastic throwback Legolas. But then the moment when the arrow hit, there was like CGI flame, and it just stood up at me. I'm like, this looks so CGI. The rest was fun, but it's just like that split second, that 7 minutes and 44 seconds when it's just like, okay, CGI. So that was a dislike for me, and it's just me being super picky. And then let's go through the likes. So my first like, it's the shot of Galadriel on the boat when she's speaking to Isildur, and we get the first, genuine, authentic Tolkien. We get the authentic Galadriel when she's talking about Isildur, and Isildur's like, I'm just this guy. I'm like a stable sweep, and Galadriel kind of says that it's okay to have a humble position. You're still a very important pawn in the whole scheme of things. So it was nice, like just her. She's really soft, I guess how I would put it. Like, she's not being aggressive, or she doesn't seem like angry. She's just giving genuine wise wisdom, and that's the Galadriel that I really love. So that was my first like. My second like, it's the moment when Bronwyn is giving Theo. It's before the battle, and Theo asks his mom to reassure him with the words she used to say to him when he was a child, to fall asleep. And she goes on and tells him to look for the light and to be hopeful. And it's not so much what she says that really got to me, but it's just the score and the music at that moment was very powerful. The person, the professional who's in charge of the music, Bear McCreary, if I'm saying that correctly, he really nailed it at that moment, and I was very engaged with what was going on. It's one of those moments where the music really elevated the scene, and it kind of worked really well in that context. So that's my second one. That's my second like on my list. My third like, it's when Arondir is fighting, he's fighting this really big orc, and the entire fight scene, like he's doing some martial arts, and you can tell that the actor seems to be performing his own stunts. Maybe I'm wrong, but you can tell he's just very, very, very fit, and he knows how to take care of business on the battlefield. But what I like is that he looks like at some points you see that he's tired, you see that he's feeling pain. Like he's not like, we're not getting like the Legolas superhuman action feels where he doesn't get tired. And as an elf, of course, elves don't really get tired, they have crazy endurance, but like Arondir takes some serious blow from that orc. Like he gets thrown on the well, he gets thrown on the floor, and it's nice to see the elf, because the elf, he's still flesh and bones. Like he still feels pain. Sure, they have endurance and they can manage pain a little bit better, and they're, I guess, tougher and more resistant. But that's being thrown against a wall really hurts, and it was nice to see Arondir tired and fatigued. So I love that entire sequence. And I also like there was that moment when Arondir's he's on the well, and the orc, he has like a sword to his forehead or near his eye, and there's like a lot of orc blood trickling down from the orc to Arondir's face, and I'm just like, I've never seen that in a like confrontation, a physical confrontation before on screen, and it was cool to see, because you would imagine a situation like that, blood would be running on the other person's face, and it's just, it's kind of disgusting and gross, and it really brought us into, I guess, Arondir's shoes. And I thought it was really cool, and it was really gory. So I've never seen that effect before, so it was cool to see, and I enjoyed that entire sequence. So that's my third like for episode 6. My next like, it's actually on the same, it follows the same idea of how realistic everything is. Like the like is the sequence of when Bronwyn is going through surgery, when they're taking the arrow out of her left shoulder, I think it was, chest shoulder, and it was really raw. Medically, I'm not sure if you're supposed to just pull out an object like that, but it's okay, whatever. But it looked really, really painful. And I was just, I don't know, like we don't know much of Bronwyn. We don't know much about her past. She has a kid, she's a mystery, she's a healer, she's in love with a hot elf. But we don't know much about her, and when she was in pain on that table, I really felt for her, and I was just like, my goodness, I hope she makes it through. And I was surprised that I was so caught into that moment, and I was just rooting for her so much, considering that I didn't care that much for her. I didn't have a problem with her, but I didn't really care. So I guess that the sequence of her almost dying sucked me into this character and got me more invested into this character, which is nice. So I'm finally there. I'm finally like more invested in Bronwyn. So that's why it's on my list of like. Now my next like, 1, 2, 3, 4. My fifth like, it's that sweeping shot to the Numenor Calvary, and this, like it started with, we were in the battle in the Southlands, in the village, and then like the camera just sweeps across the plains, and then we get to the Numenorians charging and coming to their aid, and it was really cool. And of course I got some Peter Jackson Return of the King, Charge of the Rohirrim vibes, but it was nice. I mean, you can't compare the two, but like, Jackson's charge in the third film is the greatest military charge in cinematic history. But this was nice. Like, it was obviously a smaller charge, but it was cool, and it was just like, yes, the Numenorians are coming to help, and it was a nice transition, and it was super cool. And when we got that sequence, I was already so invested in the story of the battle of what was going on, because what this episode did really well is that it stayed focused on just that one storyline of the Southlands, the Numenorian coming to help them. So it was nice that they just kept us, it was just laser focused and we could just be on our seat and watching it. And it was really cool. It's definitely the strongest episode so far. And like, I know next week we'll go back to Khazad-dûm and the Harfoots, and I think they could have probably left Khazad-dûm, that whole storyline, like in the back burner for a while, because after what they did last week, we haven't forgiven them yet. So like, I don't know, maybe if they give us like 2 super good episodes in a row, and the last episode of season 1, so there's 2 more episodes left, we'd go back to Khazad-dûm and they could, like, I don't know, we'd have enough time. You know when you have to fight with someone and you give them the silent treatment for a while? So like, I feel like I needed Khazad-dûm to be silent for a while, but whatever. Let's just move on. We'll see what happens next week in Khazad-dûm. But anyways, what was I saying? I was saying that it was nice to be focused on the Southlands and just let us be invested in that sequence for a while. So yeah, love the sweeping shot of the Numenorian cavalry. And my next, like, it's kind of still on the same vein. I love the way the Numenorians are fighting. They looked a little bigger, I noticed. Like, the Numenorians are taller than, the average man from Middle Earth, like 6-7 feet is the average Numenorian, 7 feet more. And then you could actually see that in some of the scenes, like when they're sitting at a table, they are a bit taller, which was, a nice attention to detail. And it was good to see, because an episode, like in previous episodes where that episode specifically when Galadriel, she locks 4 Numenorians in jail, which kind of makes them look incompetent. And then the episode before that, when the soldiers have a hard time fighting her, it kind of makes the Numenorians look weak, which is completely the opposite of what Numenorians are supposed to be depicted. Like, they're supposed to be like this grand force who, and in the sources, they give Sauron a fright, and like that's saying a lot. So it was nice that when the Numenorians were on horseback and fighting the orcs, like they knew what they were doing and they seemed strong and powerful and capable. So it was nice to see them successfully fighting. So that's on my list of likes. My next like, it's a very specific moment of the Numenorians fighting. It's when Isildur, he sees that his father is in trouble, and then like he takes his horse and he's running to his father, and there's that sequence where his horse jumps, and that was really cool to see. I think it didn't look like a stunt double. I think it's the actor doing the stunt, I think. And yeah, it was really nice, and I was like, cool. So yeah, I put that on my list of likes. Another one of my next like is, it's Galadriel actually. She's on this list 3 times. This is the second time I mention her. So what I like specifically about Galadriel, it's the way that she's dodging arrows and spears. Like, it looks super cool. I was like, yeah, girl, all right, I see you. Like, I really, like, she looked really competent. She looked like she's been in battles before. She looks like she knows how to ride a horse. So it was really, really nice, and I guess it was just really cool to see her dodge the arrows and the spears. So, and she did it a few times in the sequence. So love that. Give us more of that. And yeah, my next line, it's my next like, sorry, it's still Galadriel. It's when she says Narolim to the horse, to encourage him to ride faster, which is a throwback to when Arwen says it in the Fellowship of the Ring from the Jackson film. And it's the same line, but look, if if you can apply it to Arwen and it makes sense in this context, yeah, for sure use it. So it was a really nice throwback, and the entire sequence was a throwback to Arwen running away from the ring raids, whereas this time it's Galadriel trying to chase down Adar. So yeah, I thought it was a nice little, what's the word, that Easter egg? I think it's an Easter egg, like a little reminder of of something we've seen before. So love that. That was my 10th like. And my final like, and this is the most important like, the most important event that happens. And if this didn't happen, it would have ruined the entire episode. This like is the fact that, you know that scene when Halbrand, he uses his spear to make the horse fall or trip, and the horse falls, but then the horse gets up and survives. Oh my god. I was like, when that happened, I was like, Halbrand, I swear to God, if that horse is injured, I'm gonna have a serious problem with this entire show. I'm gonna have a really big problem with you. But the horse gets up, and I'm so glad that like the producer or the director took the time to give us that little moment of the horse getting up and running away, just to let us know that the horse is okay. Like, that was a huge moment. I was holding my breath, and I'm like, that almost messed my night up, but the horse survived, so we're okay. So that is my top like of this episode. It's silly, but it's true. Like, horses are so important I cannot speak. I'm a little tired. Horses are so important in Tolkien's work. Like, we have the Rohirrim, like they care for their horses, and like even us humans, we love horses. Like, who doesn't like a horse? They're gorgeous. They're these gorgeous animals who don't do anything wrong. Like, they don't bother us in any way, and they're fantastic. So glad that the horse survived. And now the last thing on my list of likes and dislikes, it's my second and only dislike. It's Elendil, actually, and I'm just like, we're not getting a lot of Elendil. Like, we got some nice character building. We had some nice moments of him and Isildur, and one nice moment of him and Galadriel. And, you know, he's on the battlefield with his helmet. Like, it's fine, but like, he's put as a secondary character, and I guess I have a bit of a problem with that because, you know, he's still my favorite character so far in this sequence. So I personally want more from him, and I know that, you know, Elendil is gonna have a really big part to play, and you know, he's instrumental in the defeat of Sauron and in the wars of the Last Alliance. So, and he's a faithful, so he's a really, really big deal. But right now he's like a side character, and like, I'm not angry about it because I think that it's just like, you know, he's like the humble sea captain. He knows how to hold his own weight. He's going through, he's still grieving the loss of his wife, I believe. So, you know, he's kind of like in the back burner, and he's a side character. But, and I hope to God it's just because we're gonna see a lot of him later, and like, we don't need him that much in the plot right now. So I don't know. Right now he's just a secondary character, which is not, I guess, a little disappointing because I really like the character, but I still have faith that he'll get it more important as the show progresses and we get in the next season. So yeah, I guess it's more of a disappointment than a dislike, but I still have faith that it will be okay. Now that's it for my likes and dislikes, and I have a couple of thoughts, two thoughts that I wrote down. And the first one is just, I guess it's some food for thought. Like, the show is called The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and we haven't seen any rings yet. We haven't had any mention of rings yet. Okay, and I guess they can get away with that because Lord of the Rings is such a big cultural impact from, you know, from the Jackson movies. So, you know, people know a lot of the audience knows that, you know, the rings will come will come later on. And of course, those of us who've read the source material, who are big Tolkien fans and know the stories, we know that you know, the rings will be created at the end of the Second Age, so it's coming. But I'm thinking of somebody who's watching it, who hasn't seen the Jackson films, who hasn't read any works of Tolkien, will just be like, why is this show called The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power? Like, I don't know, I guess when you think of it that way, it's just like, okay, let's get to the rings. So I guess that kind of points that there's some pacing issues, but I don't know. I guess we can also argue that, you know, the franchise is so popular that they can get away with not mentioning the rings, you know, 80% through with the season, and it's okay. Like, the general audience understands that it's gonna come, even if an audience member might not have seen the previous films or read any Tolkien. I guess they can get away with it. There's a societal trust, I guess, is how I'll put it. So just one of my foods for thought. My second one, and this last thing I'll talk about, what why the fuck did Isildur throw that apple overboard? Like, I don't get what, like, he first of all, when he's in the stable, he takes out the apple, he takes a bite, and my first problem with that scene is that when he's giving his horse like a bite of the apple, and like the way he places his hand, it's not right. Like, I think my couple of my girlfriends who are into horseback riding used to drive me crazy with this fact that if you're feeding a horse, your hand has to be flat, right? So that like the horse doesn't bite your finger off. Like, that's how you feed a horse an apple or a carrot. But like in the shot, I think like he's holding the apple with like a bit of a fist. So I don't know if he's doing it properly. So that's one thing. And then like, you know, he shares the apple with the horse, which is cute. And you know, he keeps on his finger, so it's cute. And then he takes a bite, which is hygiene, I don't know. But and then like he goes up deck, and like it's like there's been like 3 bites taken out of this apple, and then he's just there like a freaking spoiled brat and throws the apple over like into the ocean. I'm just like, why didn't you eat it? Why didn't you throw it, give it to the horse? And why are you throwing a food in the ocean? Like, are you bored? Like, I got the whole like, I don't know, bratty teenage boy attitude from Isildur at that point. I don't get the point of that scene, why he threw this apple in the ocean or in the sea. It was odd and just super wasteful. So yeah, Isildur should not be given any more apples, or his rations should be reduced. So yeah, that's my other food for thought. Yeah. I'm gonna end this video. How much long? A little over 20 minutes. Okay, not bad. Yeah, so 2 more episodes. I'm excited to see what we get, and how things wrap up. I think this was a strong episode, like, so far. Like, it was action packed, but it was good. I was on the edge of my seat for a lot of it, so good stuff. I'll leave this video here, and I guess I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you guys next week for episode 7. And if you have any thoughts, you can obviously let me know in the comments. And if you like, you can like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really does help. Farewell.